Hello, good people. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. All right, did you guys watch Tyler Perry's Sisters? This is season 4, and this is the mid-season finale. So yeah, we're gonna have a few weeks before they come back. I think it's gonna be quite a few weeks. I think June. I have to check the date. I'll get that date for you guys of when Sisters is going to be coming back. But last night was the mid-season finale. And on this finale, we started back with Sabrina. She's at the restaurant with Bayo. I think it's Bayou, the African guy that she decided to go on a date with Danny texting him from her phone. And so she's at the restaurant, at his restaurant, about to have dinner with him in the VIP section. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kevin shows up. He surprises the heck out of her because she's like, how did he even know she was there, you know? And so Kevin shows up, and of course he gets into a tissy fit, his panties in a bunch, as Danny can say, because he had asked Sabrina out, and Sabrina had told him no, that, you know, she didn't want to go out. But lo and behold, she's there at the restaurant with Bayou. Maybe by the next part of the season I have his name right, but it's the African guy, right? And so Kevin's like, oh, so yeah, I'm gonna interrupt you guys' date just like he interrupted our date. And the guy is telling him that he needs to leave his restaurant. He was like, oh, this your restaurant? Oh, you got money, or whatever. So, you know, they have a little back and forth, and the guy threatens to like have him thrown out or whatever. And so Kevin decides that he's just gonna leave. And of course, Sabrina, being the person she is, she's just like, I don't know what to say about her, but she's like, okay, well, she'll leave too. But the guy Badu, he convinces her and charms her into staying. Well, at least for, he said, at least 3 more drinks or whatever. So overall, they ended up having a nice time. Of course, she's blaming Danny and everything, and she does reach out to Danny for a brief moment, and Danny encourages her to go back so that Bayou won't think that she's on the phone trying to console Kevin. And he did think that when she got back to the table, he asked her, he was like, so how is he? And she told him that she wasn't talking to Kevin, you know, she wasn't on the phone with Kevin or whatever. So overall, their dinner turned out to be great, and she was enjoying herself. And so he said he really wanted to treat her like a princess, and he wanted to take her out dancing. And so it's supposed to be where they're going to go on and go dancing after they leave the restaurant. So that was Sabrina's little bit on the show last night. And so of course we have Kevin. He goes back to the apartment with his panties in a bunch, as Danny could say. He goes back to the apartment with Maurice, and you know, Maurice is there chilling on the couch, and he's like, what's going on with you? That's what he asked Kevin. And at first, Kevin's kind of acting like he's hesitant to tell Maurice about what happened, but he does finally come out, and he shares with Maurice about, you know, running into Sabrina at the restaurant with the other guy. And so Maurice pretty much like, he don't want to hear that. So Kevin tell him that he needs to worry, instead of worry about him and Sabrina, he needs to worry about Q, who's still sitting outside. From the previous episode, you guys remember Maurice had told Q to leave his place because he came home, Q was there, Q was naked in his bed, and Maurice had to like really get on him to make him leave his place. And so Maurice is thinking that Q's gone, but Kevin's telling him, no, Q's not going anywhere. He's just sitting on the step. He's sitting outside your place. So, of course, Maurice goes outside, and Q comes back into the place and everything, and Maurice decides to let him spend the night and that he can sleep on the sofa. Q gets undressed. Maurice is telling him he needs to go wash his butt before, you know, he go to sleep on his stuff. And he just gets completely undressed in front of Maurice in the living room. So I don't know if this is going to carry on to anything else. I kind of feel like Q is trying to set Maurice up because it's already, Sabrina had already mentioned to Maurice that people are thinking that Maurice had something to do with Q robbing the bank or trying to rob the bank. So I don't know if he's trying to set Maurice up or whatever, and that's how he got out of jail quick, but he's not to be trusted. So they have their little spats going back and forth. So we'll see what happens with Maurice and with Q on the upcoming second half of the season 4. All right, so at Andy's penthouse that she claims she does not want, but she's still staying there because remember that fool Gary moved all her stuff from her apartment to the penthouse. He bought a penthouse and it is in her name. So apparently she's deciding to stay there. So we're at Andy's apartment and lo and behold, Karen just pops up out of nowhere. Andy didn't know she was coming and she just pops up out of nowhere and she's really heated. She's pissed off. And you guys remember the episode before, Karen, she had went to Zach's place to try to warn him about a police officer looking for him and that he can be in trouble. But when she got to Zach's place, she never did get a chance to talk to him. And she saw his car outside and she was under the impression that he's in the house and he's just not answering her phone call. And even though Fatima pulled up while Karen was there and Fatima went in the house and Fatima, she found out that Zach had got arrested. However, she didn't have any further information and she did not share any of that information with Karen. So Karen just took it upon herself that Fatima and Zach both were lying about Zach not being home. So lo and behold, she's over at Andy's penthouse and she's having a hissy fit and she's so upset saying that you know, Zach is up to his old self again and he's lying to her and all that. And she's worried about Zach being in trouble because, you know, she's pregnant and it could be that the baby's for him. Well, she's truly believing that that baby is his. So I hope it ain't. I hope she ain't even pregnant. I don't even like Karen. But yeah. So, Andy's trying to remind her, you know, just slow your roll. You need to calm down. You're going about this the wrong way. You really need to calm down and think about this because she's like really pissed at Fatima too. And, you know, she's like, they both are lying to her and she don't know what type of father Zach is going to be with him going back and forth to jail and how they're going to raise the baby with him carrying on like that and that she really needs to get in touch with him. And so Andy's really trying to get her to calm down and Andy gets a phone call and it's Gary that's coming up. And so she's telling Karen that she could just tell Gary to go away so they can continue to talk. But Karen's like, nah, you already got him coming up. Just let him come and I'll leave or whatever. And then she was like, no, I could just tell him. And so before Andy could reach back to Gary on the phone, he had made it up to the penthouse and he was getting off the elevator. And so, of course, Karen, she just storms out and leaves. So she gone by her business. So we have Andy sitting down with Crazy Gary. And, you know, he's happy to see her there in the penthouse. And he's like, so you really like it? So, you know, they're talking about the penthouse and how gorgeous it is and how he really listened to her. And he got everything that she really liked in the penthouse and everything. But she was like, yeah, I'm going to keep the penthouse, you know, for a little while or whatever. But I just wanted to let you know that, what's the guy name? I can't get his name. It's the guy that owns the business. What is his name? What is his name? Robin. So she lets him know that Robin's coming back in town and that she already told Robin that he could stay with her when he came back to town. And you know, since Gary gave up her apartment, that means that Robin's going to stay in the penthouse with her. I'm like, this child, she's playing a dangerous behind game. You know, Gary is already a fool. You want him to blow you and Robin up in that penthouse? Really? So I don't know where she's trying to go with this. And I thought maybe she was just saying that just to rub him the wrong way and see what reaction she would get from him. But it seems like she's dead behind serious. So, and he's sitting there, you know, he's looking calm and collected and everything, but it's kind of spooky like. So we'll see. He claims that he don't even care about Robin and about him coming there. And, you know, that he's going to give Andy her space. And I guess that's his way of trying to win her back. To show her that he can be a better man. So, but Andy's like, well, you tried this before and this didn't happen. So she don't know how it's going to be any different. And so we'll see what happens when they come back and if Robin do stay in the penthouse with her. I'm just, I don't know. 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 I I was just outdone when she told him like, what, girl, you want to be playing these games? So you serious? Like, Tyler Perry, what are you planning to write here? What are you going to put on the screen for us to witness? Because we know Gary is cray. He is super crazy, super crazy. So then we see that crazy Karen, since she left Andy's place, she hurried up and she went over to Danny's place. You know, Danny's like, she just mellowed out. She's smoking her weed or whatever. And first she had got a call from Sabrina about her drama. And then she had already previously went out with Andy to a bar about her drama. And now here she is with Karen at her door. And so she opens the door for Karen. She was like, what is this or whatever? And so she Karen comes in and she's pissed off. She's telling her about how she's madly in love with Zach and she wants Zach back, and she hates Fatima and she don't understand why they trying to be friends with Fatima and what's that's all about. But she said she was gonna get her man back, and so and she want to know why he can be the way he is now with Fatima and he wasn't that way with her. And so Danny's trying to tell her, like, some people just not good together, you know, and everything he is now, that's for her. It's not for you, you know. But Karen wasn't trying to hear that. She was like, she's going to get her man back. And so Danny's trying to get her to calm down, but it's like Karen ain't even trying to hear that at all. And so Fatima kept trying to remind her, and she was telling her that he's madly in love with Fatima and there's nothing that Karen can do. You know, she was really trying to get her to calm down and just let it go. Like, you just let it go. Just let it be what it is, you know. But of course, Karen's like, she don't have time to hear that, and Danny was even trying to tell her about all the people that Zach had cheated on her with. Like, she was gonna write her list, but Karen didn't care. She was like, she just want her man back. So she storms out of Danny's place. So I don't know where she going, because she don't know that Zach had been locked up. And well, now we get to Zach's part. We see Zach, the guy Jake, paid the bail because he was being held for child support, $37,000. So Jake put the money up to bail him out of jail. So they're outside the jailhouse. He's been booked out and everything. He still don't have his cell phone. They don't know what they did with his cell phone within the the jailhouse or whatever, and they're saying they can't find it. But Zach said he's been there so many times, they were trying to play games with him, so he's used to that. So they're standing outside waiting on them to find Zach's phone. So without him having his phone, he hasn't called Fatima. So Fatima, she still does not know. Well, she knew from the contractors that Zach had got arrested, but she don't know what for. So she's under the impression that it's Hayden that's behind all this stuff. She don't know about the child support and all that stuff and who the girl may be. She don't know about none of this. So Zach, he doesn't have his phone to call Fatima. And then he was like, he can't use Jake's phone because if he called from Jake's phone, she's not the type of person to answer unknown calls. So we have that. So we skip that. We leave that part, and then we end up on Fatima. And Fatima. Okay, so now we're on the part to Fatima. And this is where Fatima, she's made it to... Okay, so we get to the part of Fatima, guys. I was on a Zoom. I was on mute. Because we were supposed to wait a couple of hours before we came back. Before everyone came back to the Zoom, but it was just like a parking place for us. So I was on the Zoom and I'm sitting there recapping the show, and this whole time my microphone, it went from mute to to unmuted, and they could hear me recapping, but they said it was really good, so that's a plus. Okay, now let me finish. Sorry. So now we're on the part with Fatima. So, you know, Fatima, she does not know what Zach was arrested for. She don't know that he's even been released, because Zach, he's still waiting on his cell phone to be given back to him from the police officers. So Fatima, she's at Hayden's place. We see her pull up in her car. She gets out the car with a bat, and she just goes to town on his Mercedes. She's knocking out the windows, breaking it. She's knocking on the car, putting dents in the hood and everything. So Hayden comes outside. He don't have crutches crutches. So I'm like, maybe he was pretending earlier when he was hopping around on the crutches at the office. Because he comes outside like totally fine, and he's trying to stop her and everything. And she was like, oh, you messed up now. And, you know, she was saying she was upset about him getting Zach arrested and all that stuff. And then Hayden was like, he didn't know what she was talking about. So he ends up running back in the house, and she runs behind him. And when she runs in the house, guess who's standing up in the living room? Gary was there. So that's how it ends. So we see Fatima in the living room with the bat, and there's Gary, and there's also Hayden. So now she's gonna know that those two have been in cahoots together, and what exactly have those two been up to? What all they got going on, you know? Because we know Gary, he's been trying to have Hayden to spy on Andy at the office, and now he knows that Robin's coming back into town. So it's like, what else is he trying to do? And then we know Hayden, he really don't want Fatima to be with Zach. He wants Fatima for himself. So so the second half of the mid-season, I think it's coming back in June. I want to say June 29th, but again, I'll check for the date and let you guys know. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. That was the recap of Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 4. This is the mid-season finale. So we have a few weeks to check out some other things. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you like my recap and review. And if you would please leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. I never know how to rate Tyler Perry shows, but I would just say that I'm not going to put it on the scale. I'll just say it's better than some of the other stuff that he put out there. And of course, there's always room for improvement. So, like, we all can, not approve, we all can improve with whatever we're doing. Just like I have to improve with my recaps, reviews. But once again, thank you so much. Continue to have a blessed, beautiful day. Bye.